I'm Brandon Miller, and you are listening to Coach. This weekly series dives deep into the world of CliftonStrengths and how they impact your daily life. Hear from certified strengths coaches on the ins and outs, quirks, and characteristics of all 34 strengths and 4 domains and how they play out in real life. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the Strengths Whisperer Coach to Coach version. Today I'm with Kelly Merbler. I'd like to say the Kelly Merbler. And she is at kellymerblerco.com, kellymerblerco.com, or for those of us who know, if you know, Coffee with Kelly. Kelly, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Well, I would like the listeners to know how cool you are. So I get to follow you on LinkedIn. I get to see who you rub shoulders with. I get to see your daily Starbucks message on the cup and your videos that you record. And if you don't know, now you know, listeners, you got to go find Kelly Merbler on LinkedIn. Some of the best content you're going to see for motivation, education, strengths, and then just some super cool people that she rubs shoulders with. So Kelly, can you tell us what you're up to?
Oh, Brandon, you always make me feel so special. Thank you so much for all of your support. You're amazing too. But I'm up to building my business. I am working really hard every single day to create more opportunities to bring CliftonStrengths to more organizations and more leaders. That is my mission. And I'm sticking to it. So every single day, in some way, connecting and talking about strengths with someone to keep that message in front of them.
Oh, I love it. And listeners, today we're going to talk about belief. And what you just heard is some of the strength of belief, the resolve, the focus, the clarity of purpose that marks this particular strength. So Kelly, we got to tell everyone though, Coffee with Kelly. Like, come on, you got like it's a tribe. Like it is a tribe. Can you tell us about Coffee with Kelly?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So 4 years ago, Coffee with Kelly was born because of COVID, and I could not do speaking engagements or CliftonStrengths programs inside companies. So I thought, I love coffee. I have OCD, obsessive coffee disorder. And I need to stay connected with people. So I just said, all right, I'll learn how to do this thing called Zoom. I'm going to show up and just invite anyone that wants to meet me on Zoom for a cup of virtual coffee. And I will just inspire, support, and be there for people when COVID started. And 4 people came and I was one of them. And that's how we started 4 years ago.
And where's it at today?
Well, 4 years later, we meet every Friday on Zoom at 8:00. And we have been able to have over 14,000 people in that virtual coffee shop. 73 countries have been inside that coffee shop. And we've had over 220 sessions, I think now, where it's just a global community of servant leaders coming together that want to have a place we talk about strengths, we talk about leadership, and we talk about just life. So it's really a safe space for people to end their week and have a wonderful cup of coffee with some wonderful people.
I love it. Coffee with Kelly listeners. Definitely want to encourage you to find Kelly Merbler on LinkedIn. Check out her website, kellymerblerco.com, and Coffee with Kelly. I think there's room for more, right? Always room for another to join the 73 countries, 14,000 folks, 220 sessions going. Amazing. So we're here to talk about belief. Kelly, I want to hear just raw and real. What's your version of belief?
I think the best word to describe my version of belief is conviction. I mean, that's the word I use so often when I talk about belief, that it's true conviction in what you believe you stand for.
When you first saw belief show up in your report and you read what the technical definition was around core values, purpose, that defined purpose helps to set course for life. What was your initial reaction to that?
When I first learned about it, it was in a period of my life where I was feeling stuck. So I read that and it got me really thinking, well, maybe this is part of what's going on with how I'm feeling. And it really encouraged me to want to dig a little deeper to understand what that really represented within me and what I value. So it really was a strength that, I mean, I love this strength. I really do. I love all my strengths, but belief, I really feel it's me. And it started me on this investigative journey and discovery of really understanding what is it that I value most at this season in my life. And that's where it started.
Mm. I like how you said that, and listeners, really listen today to the strength of terms that Kelly will apply to the belief strength. I happen to share this one. We talked about this before the show. I've actually taken Clifton Strengths, the assessment 3 times. Belief is always in my top set, so I have a deep connection here with Kelly. I got my belief mug today, so I'm doing my own private version of Coffee with Kelly. You can be jealous all you want. And so when we talk about that place, and let's use like maybe dissonance, that place of I'm just feeling stuck, something is off, something is not in alignment. And then you think about belief, and it has this connection to some kind of purpose, connection to some kind of area that aligns with my values and my purpose, that give way to my direction, give way to my work, my activity. Is that a connection that you saw then, or that you've grown seeing it more to this day?
I've always had belief in me, obviously, but I think what I needed to clarify was, why was I feeling stuck in that time of my life? I was not engaged in the work that I'd been doing for many, many years in my corporate job. And so I really just started feeling not as excited to go to work. And after doing a lot of discovery and really digging in, it really was about finding meaningful work that felt, not that I wasn't doing meaningful work, it was about meaningful work to what felt meaningful to me. And we all value different things. And so I was looking for something, and I like to use the term, I was looking for more, but how do you define more? What is more? And more really was purpose and meaningful work. And that's what I went on a mission really to discover, what would that look like for me? And how could I bring that into the work that I was doing?
Talk to us a little bit about the mission, because I think that's a key component to this strength. Because there are times in coaching and training where I've talked about belief, and I think people connect well to the value part. I think they can connect well to the purpose. But when they step back from it and go, well, how is that a strength? Like, how does that evoke high level performance? How does that bring about something that stands out above the others? Because we see it in the executing domain. And some might look at belief and go, that sounds more influencing. Like it sounds
I
like,
agree.
right? There sounds like there's a passion there with that strength. And yet it does almost always have its outlet in action, in taking definitive steps, right? And so can you talk a little bit just about that process of discovery that you went through?
So the first thing I did, honestly, is I worked with a coach on my core values. That was the very first thing. Is I got a coach.
Can you say that again? You worked with a
I worked with a coach.
Oh, listeners, when the coach is here saying they worked with a coach, just wanted to have that repeated, because if you haven't had that experience, and you're going to hear Kelly talk today, and you're going to realize the level she's functioning at, and taking to heart what she's saying right now, I think is an important point. So thank you. Keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started working with a coach on clarifying what were my core values in this season of my life. Because what I valued 10 years before, earlier in my career, had definitely shifted because of life experiences. And at that time, I just didn't value what I used to value early in my career. And I needed clarity on what were the things that, when I did them, really lit my soul on fire, that I just felt this inner, it wasn't success, it was significance. that I felt when I was doing that kind of work. And success is wonderful. I've experienced it, like all of you listening, but there's just such a feeling that's so different when I experience significance, where it truly connected with what I've always been good at, but I never really knew how to get myself to be able to do it more full time. And so what I had to do was just kind of experiment with different things that I would execute upon, like speaking to small audiences. And I've always loved to inspire people, like always. But when I did that, I just felt like it was, the world got quiet, and it was just this feeling of a flame just growing inside of me. And I started exploring that. Then I started exploring I went on a missions trip. And that was a life changer for me, where I really saw my belief figure out what significance felt like, because I was doing something for others and it wasn't about me anymore. And I started just working closer with the teams that I was leading and helping them understand strengths after I started understanding my strengths. And I just really saw a connection. It was just all coming together, where I could really see when I was doing something, what were the things that fueled me and what were the things that drained me. And I wanted to do more of what fueled me.
I love that. I'm going to now make a connection for the listener because this will be a helpful way to hear belief in its process. So, Kelly, you could have chosen a myriad of modalities to focus on, lots of assessments out there to get to an end of helping people describe themselves, self-awareness, but you chose strengths. You rooted here. And so something about your belief and this philosophy, this system connected. Can you help us understand, why did you pick Clifton Strengths? Why did you pick a strengths-based approach to be essentially a major component now of life and career?
Yeah, because there are a lot of choices, and I was exposed to a lot of those choices, and they were all value adds, absolutely. But with strengths, it was the aha moment for me when I really understood it. I had to really dig in with my coach and understand it. But when I really understood it, it brought this fog off of me, where the answers started to make sense. Why didn't I like what I was doing that I'd done for so many years? Same people, same companies, same teams, like great people. And I was really successful at it, but I was missing something. And it was that significance piece. And for me, it was the assessment that gave me the clarity that I struggled to find and got very frustrated, very disheartened by. Really just started giving up and just saying, I guess this is where I'm going to be the rest of my life. But when I saw what I had within me, it just validated that this was a gift that was God given to me, honestly. And it would be a shame for me not to put it to use. And that's where it just really started getting me very curious.
I appreciate that you mentioned, something that Dr. Donald Clifton coined as a big part of his description of strengths: God-given talents. That these are a part of who you are. They're gifts. They are things that can be cultivated and grown. And as a high belief myself, I resonated with that. Now, I am a person of faith. I do believe in God. I have that as a core to who I am. And so Clifton Strengths very much aligned with my understanding of how people have. Now, most of us with high belief also understand that we can't require people to share our beliefs. Their beliefs are theirs, and ours work in our way. Have you found in your journey with belief that that's something that you have to stay aware of? That it's okay that I have what I hold close, you can have what you hold close, and we can respect each other in the process.
Without a doubt. And that is what the whole Coffee with Kelly platform is all about. I mean, we've had thousands of people over 4 years, and all of us have different values. And that's what I love about that community is it's very clear what I stand for, and I don't hide that, and I don't try to, put that down or, put it in front of people and say you have to be like this. But what it's allowed me to do is really appreciate what other people value that I really never understood their perspective. So we have really tough conversations in that group, but they're all respectful and no judgment. And so that's one of our core values in Coffee with Kelly is no judgment. You can believe in whatever you believe in. You can vote for whoever you vote for. We just want you to know that you're valued and loved, and we're here to just support each other.
What I have come to appreciate with belief, especially when I've worked with teams where you have team members with high belief, is that a mature, a developed, a person who has grown in their belief arrives at a place where you and I don't have to share the same belief for me to respect you and you to respect me. However, I do give teams this understanding that if you can know a person's beliefs and respect that they have those and they will be unchanging, they're so deep, they're core, because no one changes a beliefs but a belief.
Yeah.
Nobody changes their mind but them. And so you can offer suggestions, you can offer your difference in opinion, and they can then decide to change what they think, but it will come through their own process. Do you resonate with that with your high belief?
Oh, absolutely. And when when I wasn't as self aware, it makes sense. Like when I was younger and I didn't really understand that belief was in me, I'm very stubborn. And I would put my foot down on things and defend things that I believed in without really understanding a different perspective. And that was a raw form of belief, like you said. But as I continued to work, through being coached and understanding it more and applying it more, I have definitely matured in that strength where now it's a beautiful thing to just witness what other people value and have them let you into their world.
I do appreciate that you mentioned the word stubborn because when I talked about this quite a bit in the past, I would say this is affectionately known as the stubborn theme. Of all the 34, I think this particular strength has such an intensity, such a passion to it. And it does require, I used to jokingly say it requires a warning label sometimes. Because if you get close to a person's belief and now you're trying to manipulate a belief, it will push back. It will instinctively, it'll push back on, whoa, that's too close. Now you're into a space, and I'll use family because belief almost always has deep family value. Almost always. You're going to hear that deep family values. Others you're going to hear integrity. And then you said it very well. Altruism. There is a cause I care about. And you could tell me all you want about the cause, but you won't talk me off my cause because now it's embedded in my belief. So I want to ask you this question. I've asked many of our guests in this series, Coach to Coach. And again, I'm with Kelly Merbler. KellyMerblerCO.com is where you can find her. Highly recommend you check out Coffee with Kelly. All through this episode, you've heard about it. I think if you're not curious by now, would encourage you to go take a look because Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern, which gulp for those of us on the West Coast, it's early, but it works because you got to pick a time, right, Kelly? You got to pick a time. Yeah, you set the signpost, and those who can make it can make it. So when we think about you, so if you were coaching you, so I want you to coach me as though I were you, how to be the best version of your belief. So and I don't mean where it was, I mean where it is. So the place where you've gotten it and imagining it could be even stronger, it could even have greater impact, greater influence, greater effect. How would you coach you to be stronger in your belief strength?
Well, the first thing I would want to understand is what do you value? The only way I can add value to someone is if I understand what they value. And I would really want to get clear and have a values conversation with the person to understand what is it that they value most at this season in their life and why do they value that? Why is that important to you? Let me into that understanding so then I can start to really connect and maybe relate to some of the things that we didn't really understand or even know that we related with. Sometimes we value different things, but they're really the same things in a way. And unless we have a conversation, we would never really understand that about each other. So that would be the first thing I would want to know. And then the second thing I would really want to understand is, how can I help support you in your mission? What is it that you need? Who can I refer you to open a door to help you do more of it? So you can feel that inner sense of fire come out in the work that you're doing, because I see when you do it, it is absolutely noticeable, and when you're in action doing it. So I would want to start with those two things and really connect on that level. I want to get on your level.
Listeners, if you are hearing Kelly today and you're thinking, I would like to talk to her about coaching, Kelly, how would they find you if they wanted to inquire and learn more about what you do and who you do it with?
I would definitely suggest one of two things. LinkedIn is obviously a great place to connect with me. I'm very active on the platform, and you can always send me a DM there. It's under Kelly Merbler, or my website, of course, kellymerblerco.com. And I'll also share my email. It's kelly@thekellymerblercompany.com. So those are your best ways.
Thank you, Kelly. Listeners, if you think today listening and you want to know more about the strength of belief, in just a moment, you're going to hear a word from our sponsor, and we're going to tell you how to download a resource. It's titled How to Be a Good Teammate to Me. And what it does is it takes all 34 strengths and it helps you to connect with the contribution of each strength and the need of each strength. And then it also gives a wonderful team exercise called the Best of Me, where you can take those contributions and needs and help others who work with you to know, when do they get the best of you? When do they get the worst of you? What do I need from you? What do you need from me? So great exercise that you can do. With that, Kelly, I want to thank you so much for taking the time today to talk about belief and sharing with us your journey. I did want to highlight this point: core values. For those of you with high belief, if you haven't taken the step to define those values, or go back and refresh, see where you've grown, where you might have experienced some transition. Kelly did a great job of helping us to hear that journey of belief. So Kelly, thank you so much for taking your time with us today.
Thank you, Brandon. You're a rock star.
Thank you for tuning in to the Strengths Whisperer Coach to Coach. Please feel free to reach out to Brandon to partner with 34 Strong for collaboration opportunities to serve your employees or clients together. If you are a strengths coach, lead a strengths-based team, or are a fan of strength, we invite you to receive our complimentary resource, How to Be a Good Teammate to Me, Understanding My Contributions and Needs. Email Brandon_Miller at 34strong.com to connect, and he will gladly share this resource that will continue to unlock the power of strength.